I want an explanation, I need one, and I deserve one. But first I want you to know who my Sheridan was. My Sheridan. It's about how failed border policies, sanctuary city laws, and twisted leaders refused to cooperate with ICE. They sent her to her grave. It's about a government and politicians that forgot their first priority. And the question before this committee is painfully simple. When did protecting our American citizens stop being your first priority?
Jim Jordan is out to protect American families from violent crimes committed by illegals. As it says here, borders secured, terrorist suspects intercepted, families protected. Thank you, Trump. U.S. on track to intercept 16 times as many suspected terrorists at border under Trump, thanks to cartel designations. Some of these horrible things, like this poor kid, this driver couldn't speak English. He never should have been on the roads or let anybody in the country. But the Biden administration did let that happen, and this poor kid should be alive today. Ohio immigrant truck driver admitted to U.S. under Biden allegedly killed UMass soccer star. He didn't even speak English. And this is why people were concerned about these truck drivers who don't have proper training working these big rigs on American highways. It's a danger. So as it says here, joins the show. Jim Jordan joins the show for an update on the fight for the victims' families of illegal immigration, update on the Save America Act, plus much more. So let's check this out.
Today, Congressman Jordan, thanks for being with us. I know the House is on recess right now, but you're going back to work next week. What's on the docket for you when you return to Washington?
Well, we're still trying to get this, and we had talked about this before, Scott. But the Sanctuary Jurisdiction Act, it stops the sanctuary jurisdictions around the country. So we're still trying to get that through the House. It's been through our committees. That's one of the things our committee has really focused on. You know, we had a big hearing a week ago where we had Jessica Gorman, mom of Sheridan Gorman, testify. Some of the most riveting, powerful, emotional testimony I've ever heard. And I've been in Congress
that story was so sad.
A while, talking about, here was a guy who had committed crimes, here illegally committed other crimes, and killed Miss Gorman, killed Sheridan Gorman, Jessica's daughter, and she told it as only a mom could. So we're still working on that issue. We think that's, again, to your point about common sense, and it's
common sense, like closing the border, which Trump finally did. Now we don't have anybody crossing the border, but we need to be kicking more people out as well.
It's ridiculous that in 18 major cities, 11 states, the District of Columbia, and then 3 big counties as well, like Fairfax County with 1.8 million in population, that they're all sanctuary jurisdictions where the political class tells local law enforcement, don't work with federal law enforcement when it comes to enforcing federal law. So just dumb, just stupid. And so we're trying to get that bill across the finish line.
Let me ask you a question about this testimony. This happened on June 30th, this Jessica Gorman testimony.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was absolutely heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
And, she needs a platform to tell her story, and so we can hear her voice. I mean, her daughter, this all happened in Chicago, by the way. Her daughter was killed by this Venezuelan illegal. When you bring people like Jessica Gorman in, people who've suffered absolute tragedy because of this illegal immigration crisis, do you ever get the sense that any of the Democrats you serve with have a heart about this at all? Because they routinely tell us, that Republicans are making this up. There is no, immigrants are less violent than...
Democrats are faking it. What did H.L. Mencken say? The urge to save humanity is often a false front to rule it. Right? Democrats, that's all they talk about is empathy, but do they emphasize it or implement it? No.
And American citizens, and this never happens, and that never happened, and then you have a real life case, and this mother who is in agony. Do they break at all? Do they show any emotion at all when you put them right in front of these Democrats and say, you're wrong? This happened to a real life American family?
Yeah, it's interesting. There were members who said, we understand what a terrible loss you've suffered, and they acknowledged that. But then they also said, and I responded to this. One of the Democrats said, I can't believe this is the 4th hearing we're having on this subject. And I responded shortly after and said, I don't care if we have 5, 6, 7. I don't care how many hearings it takes. I'll do whatever to get rid of this stupid sanctuary jurisdiction policy out there where, understand, Scott, They first they let in 10 million.
The only reason those things actually exist, is because of the fraud. Like that's really the only reason, right? Because they need to get those kickbacks for their voters, so Democrats can stay in power. It's the only thing that they can do.
And then they create sanctuary jurisdictions, which makes it difficult to remove any of those illegal migrants when they commit another crime. Then they say, we're not going to fund the guys who do the removing. We're not going to fund ICE. And then they have a fourth step to their crazy plan, which is, some of these prosecutors like Descano, who represents Fairfax County as the prosecutor there, he even takes into account the deportation status, the immigration status of people who commit crimes and lessens their sentence or lessens their penalty or gives them a better plea deal than he does an American citizen who may have committed the same crime. That is just stupid. So that's the policy. And I will do, if it takes us 1 million hearings to get this thing done, we should do all of them because it's just that ridiculous the policy that the left now has.
And as a consequence of politics, if the Democrats were to tragically take the House this November, there will be no more hearings. There will be no more attention to any of these crime victims. All that will go away.
Yeah.
So if you care about this issue out there, remember that in November, because if you put Democrats back in charge of the House, there won't be any focus on the Gorman family. It'll be all impeachments of Donald Trump in every committee all the way down. Congressman Jordan, we have seen the Democrats over the last few days and last few weeks struggling with this rise of the Democratic Socialists of America in their party.
It's just unbelievable to me that something like 60% of Democrats prefer socialism. They find it appealing. I mean, I hope that that's just a confusion in a way, like they're too stupid to understand the difference between socialism and a public good. But a lot of these young people that got indoctrinated in our public school prison system think that fighting fires is socialist or something, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, firefighters are mostly voluntary, first off, and even the ones within cities that are paid for by the state. I mean, that's the key. The state is paying for a service. They give them funds for the firefighters to function in the city, right? But you're paying for a service. That's a public good. The state is paying for, or the city is paying for a service. That's not socialism. Okay, socialism is when the government controls the means of production.
Party, they've gotten a number of incumbent Democrats have been thrown out, people I'm sure that you know and have worked with for many years, and they're being replaced by folks who, if you listen to their words, they'd like to destroy the American empire from the inside out. What do you make of this Democratic Party sort of folding up and the socialists taking over and running wild on the left?
No, it's scary. You're a student of history and American politics. It's sad when the once great party of FDR and JFK is now anti-Israel and socialist. I mean, it's just that's who they're electing in these Democrat primaries. And I pointed to this example, and I know you have as well. Dan Goldman, the guy Adam Schiff brought in as the impeachment counselor, as the lawyer to go after President Trump when they did that in secret impeachment in the Intelligence Committee. I spent months in that bunker in the basement of the Capitol going through depositions and hearings with Schiff and Goldman.
And that's going to come back again. I hope the Democrats don't win this November, because if they do, we're going to have to do this all over again. All of the ridiculous made-up reasons for impeachment. It's just going to be such a waste of time, and no one's going to get anything done.
After that's over, Mr. Goldman goes back to New York. He runs for Congress. He gets elected. He's running for re-election. And he gets beat by one of these Democrat socialist candidates. And he doesn't just get beat, he gets beat by 30 points.
Wow.
And so when Dan Goldman, the impeachment lawyer for Adam Schiff, is not good enough for the Democrat Party and for the left, that tells you how radical they've become. And
it's extreme left, and a large part of it is because of the education system. Let's see if we can find that interview from earlier. It wasn't that long ago. I just watched it. This one right here. This one's really sad. Katie Abraham from Illinois. Sheridan Gorman was attending a college in Illinois. Both young women were killed because the sanctuary state failed them. Oh, this is an article, not a video, but it's a pretty sad situation. Unbelievably sad situation. This poor woman lost her child. Here it is. Says, the criminal alien who killed Sheridan Gorman was released into the country by the Biden administration. Then the criminal alien was arrested in Chicago, but the sanctuary city released him back into the streets. A young college student lost her life because Democrats chose criminal aliens over Sheridan's safety. And that's the naivete of their fake empathy. They're like, oh, these people will be cured if we just release them onto the streets. Like, are you serious? That's an actual belief you have? But this is the kind of stuff that they push. We've proven time and time again, like back in the 90s with Giuliani in New York, he lowered the murder rate in New York from over 30 down to, I don't remember the exact numbers, but like 3 by putting a cop on every street corner. I mean, that's how you solve inner city violence. You only got to do it for a couple of years. And then one of the main reasons is because you stop their recruitment efforts, right? You get all those other gang members off the street, and then they don't get to recruit the next generation. And they start really young when they start recruiting these people into the gang life. And then they start committing crimes between, like 15 and 25. And if you can get them out of that in that little age area, then you just have significantly less criminals in society. Because 30 is a major age for even a lot of criminals, where they're like, "Wow, this was a big waste of time," and even they will switch it up. But by that time, so many of them have long-term sentences in prison that it's a little bit too late. So, got to do it earlier. Got to start arresting gang members on the streets so they can't recruit, young males to these ridiculous endeavors. But here's this video.
My name is Jessica Gorman. I'm the mother of Sheridan Grace Gorman. Sheridan was 18 years old. She was a freshman at Loyola University Chicago. She was beautiful. She was funny, faithful, loving, full of plans to build something with her life. On March 19th, Sheridan went with friends to the lakefront in Chicago because they hoped they might see the northern lights. She never saw those lights. The man accused of murdering my daughter is Jose Medina, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela who should not have even been in this country. And even after committing a crime and having an outstanding warrant, he was left on the streets of Chicago to murder my innocent American child. But this story, it's not about him. This story is about my Sheridan. It's about how failed border policies, sanctuary city laws, and twisted leaders refused to cooperate with ICE. They sent her to her grave. It's about a government and politicians that forgot their first priority. And the question before this committee is painfully simple. When did protecting our American citizens stop being your first priority? And even more important, why did protecting our American citizens stop being your first priority? I want an explanation, I need one, and I deserve one. But first I want you to know who my Sheridan was. I want you to understand what we all lost because of your mismatched priorities. My husband and I have always joked that our older daughter, Madeline, is our pride. Well, Sheridan was our joy. From the moment she was born, Sheridan was pure energy, enthusiasm, laughter, fun. She was the kind of person who made every room brighter and usually a little louder. Which is why when Sheridan was in kindergarten, I remember going to her first parent-teacher conference. I was a little nervous because while she was the sweetest little girl you could possibly imagine, she was also the chattiest. I remember sitting down across from her teacher, bracing myself and asking with bated breath, "So, how's my Sheridan?" I'll never forget when the teacher looked at me very seriously and said, "I only have one thing to say to you." Oh, my stomach dropped. Then she said, "Your Sheridan stalks the buddy bench." I remember blinking at her. "I'm sorry, what?" She said, "Your Sheridan stalks the buddy bench." I was totally confused, and I asked, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? And what exactly is a buddy bench? And the teacher smiled and said, "It's a beautiful thing." She explained that they had a bench in the play yard. She said that not all kids are as outgoing and confident as your Sheridan, so the children were told that if they wanted to play or if they felt lonely, left out, shy, they could sit on that bench. And then the other children were told that if they saw someone sitting there, they should go over, talk to them, ask them to play. And apparently Sheridan, my tiny kindergartner, had appointed herself the guardian of that bench. Every day at recess, instead of heading straight to the swings or joining in a game of kickball, my daughter hung back and hovered by the nearby tree, just watching that bench, just waiting, just in case someone might need her. The kids didn't even have a chance to fully sit down on the bench before Sheridan was rushing over to take them, to take their hand, pull them away. Girls, boys, first graders, kindergartners, it really didn't matter to her. If a child looked lonely, Sheridan went over. If someone had no one to play with, Sheridan was there. If someone felt invisible, Sheridan saw them. That was my daughter, and that is who she was until the day she was stolen from us. And I honestly can't make sense of it. I cannot make peace with it. And in what world does the child who spent her life making sure no one was lonely die terrified and alone on a pier in Chicago? In what world does the girl who saw everyone become invisible to the people in power responsible for protecting her?
Oh man, it's unbelievably sad. It really tugs at your heartstrings.
This cannot be explained away, and it cannot be buried beneath a list of unrelated issues that you all paraded before us. Thanks for telling me without telling me that, you're here, but you don't want to be. This is the fourth time you had angel families. Thanks for telling me you don't care.
That's Democrats she's talking about. They don't want to have these meetings. They just want to get reelected. And, Democrats keep pushing the nonsense that no human being is illegal. Well, it's not America's job to take care of 8 billion people on Earth, right? These people need to take care of themselves. These countries need to stop being corrupt and pushing their criminals out of their prisons and into our country.
This cannot be buried under your slogans, your statistics, or excuses, and this just can't stand. So today, I bring this back to the buddy bench. I think Congress needs one. I think every governor, every mayor, every sanctuary city official and politician shifting blame and interest, hiding behind their slogans and talking points should have to all sit on one. And I challenge you all to sit down with me, take my hand, look me in the eye, and then explain to me, because I just don't understand, explain why people here illegally matter more than your American citizens. Explain why sanctuary policies matter more than my Sheridan's life. Explain why cooperation with ICE.
That should be the slogan right there to convince a lot of people. Sanctuary versus Sheridan.
Was too much to ask for.
We prefer Sheridan, obviously.
But asking our American parents to bury our children is somehow acceptable. Ask me. I need you to tell me. I want you to imagine that little girl on the buddy bench, that innocent college freshman with a heart full of compassion and a head full of dreams that was gunned down by an illegal immigrant, I want you to imagine that was your daughter, not mine. What if she was yours? Would you even hesitate for 1 second to act, to make changes? My Sheridan spent her whole life choosing others. Today I'm just asking this committee in our Congress, in our country, to choose her. She was worth protecting. She was worth saving. And she was worth your brave vote. To all of those who have supported us, who have prayed for us, who have cried with us, and to those who have had the courage to speak out and say Sheridan's name, thank you. Because every time you say her name, you give a piece of her back to us. You remind the world that Sheridan was not a talking point. She wasn't a statistic or a headline. She was our daughter. She will always be my sweet sunshine. And if the people who failed her would rather look away, then I'm asking the rest of you to look right at her. Here she is. There's she and I. Here she is. This is taken the day before she died. Say her name, tell her story, and demand better. Because my Sheridan Grace Gorman should still be alive. And no mother should have to stand where I am standing, begging elected leaders to value my child's life after it's already too late. I cried when I came into the room. I saw this poster that you made. It says, at every stop, the system had a chance to stop him. At every step, it failed. And my daughter paid for those failures, your failures, with her life. No family should ever have to bury a child because public officials fail to put American lives first. I'm just asking you to choose us. We choose you. We choose you. Choose us.
Yeah, choose America first. Choose American citizens first. Choose Sheridan Gorman first and other little girls like them, and not criminal aliens from other countries that came here because other countries emptied out their prisons and tried to make their problems our problem. I mean, from South America to the Middle East, people in the West are complaining about this all the time, saying, they're sending their chaos to us and making us have to deal with it in the West.
Why does my child matter less than an illegal immigrant? Why? Listen, I have a heart. I love immigrants. Two of my best friends in this whole world are immigrants. They came here the right way. I absolutely think they make America beautiful. But my daughter's beautiful too. I need you to think about what these policies are. And I need you to imagine this is your daughter, because I'm very sure you won't be cutting off anyone when they're speaking. I'd be very sure you won't call this a political stunt. The grief is real. Every day I wake up with unimaginable pain. Do you know what I wake up in the middle of the night and I think, did my daughter cry for me? She made it 40 feet. She made it 40 feet running for her life. Did she cry out for me? She died on that pavement all by herself, lonely, looking, bleeding on that pavement. And I will never ever rest. I actually have to say that I am devastated. My husband and I, we're only a couple years away from retirement. I've worked my whole life so hard. All I wanted to do was just enjoy our children. Just wanted to enjoy my Sheridan, my Madeline. And now I'm bitter. I'm bitter because I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm a lover. I love children. I love pumping people up and making them feel good about themselves. I'm not racist. I'm not xenophobic. We've done everything right, my husband and I. We taught our daughter to be wonderful, beautiful person. Her love was extravagant. And now I'm going to have to spend my last waking moment, I'm going to have to spend fighting against these policies, fighting for people to say her name. So if you have the courage, please come talk to me. Come sit on that bench. I'll buy Congress a bench. Talk to each other. Talk to each other. We shouldn't be screaming across the room. I mean, we also shouldn't say but, because I have to just say, and I understand that you're here for a reason. I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that cares about our American children. And I know that you're a mother. I know that you're a father. I deeply value that. But basically what you just did...
Partisan politics has gotten out of control, where people can't stand up for this woman. You know, I think Democrats just know they can't get elected, like, with actual American citizens, and they're just so unbelievably corrupt. But you know what this thing reminds me of? You know, and we changed the quote a little, but it's, you know, hell hath no fury like a mother scorns. You know, this. I hope this woman gets. I hope everybody listens to this woman across the country.
What you said was, I'm so sorry for your loss. I have a daughter too. I have a son. I feel your pain. You don't. You don't feel my pain. Because the next words out of your mouth were, but. There's no but. When your child is in a coffin, there's no but. And I need you to understand that. And if you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. I'm going to buy you a bench. You can put that on the record. I'm going to buy Congress a bench. And they can come and sit and hold my hand and look me in the eye and explain to me why illegal immigrants are more important than my daughter. I really want to know, because I don't understand. Please, I welcome you. I will listen. I will listen. I care. I just need you to explain it to me, because I don't, and I fear I will never understand. Thank you.
Good for her. Man, I feel sorry for her. All right, this video is getting pretty long, though, so I'm going to cut it off here. Thanks for watching. Like and share so more people can understand the horror show that Democrats have handed American mothers.